Hey guys, Andy back here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with another issue of the Space Marine Chronicles. This is once again a very hotly requested Space Marine chapter that you guys wanted me to do a video on and give you a little bit of a lore dive. That is of course the awesome successive chapters of the Ultramarines, the Nova Marines. Very interesting scheme with the quartered kind of blue, which is very indicative of the Ultramarines. And then the other side is kind of like an eggshell color. I went for Pallid Witchflesh with that. It's an awesome scheme, looks really complicated. It's not. So I'm going to show you in this video how easy it is. Before I get into that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone out there that supports me in all the myriad of ways possible to support me. Whether you're watching video, liking video, commenting, subscribing, or you become an awesome channel member or a much needed patron member. Those last two, of course, pay the bills and keep the lights on, so they are the most important ones. So from those guys, I do an extra video every single week. Last week, we did a Vespid Stingwing from the new Kill Team box set. And this week we're going to do Orkan the Diviner, an awesome Necron special character that is going to be out by the time you guys are seeing this video. So if you want to get extra content every single week and extra painting video from me, check out becoming a Patreon member or a channel member down below. All right, without further ado, let's dive in and get cracking on this Nova Marine. Okay, so this is the miniature that I'm going to use to represent the Nova Marines. I, as per usual, use an Assault Intercessor because it's a nice open stance, easy to paint in around all the details and show off the color scheme in all its glory. I have 3D printed a Nova Marine shoulder pad just so it's proper authentic and stuff like that. So I'm going to go into a little bit of their background first, but when I get into the layering stage, I do want to focus on talking about the painting because there is a few bits and pieces to know. So, founding. The first chapter master of the Nova Marines was an Ultramarines captain Lucretio Corvo, an officer who won great renown fighting the Word Bearers during the Horus Heresy. Besieged during one particular battle on the world of Astagar, Corvo and his men resisted annihilation for 6 days before managing to destroy a traitor warlord battle titan and break out. For this act, Corvo was decorated by Roboute Guilliman himself. This decoration is now a sacred relic to the Nova Marines and is kept in the Fortress Monastery. The Nova Marines have been involved in many significant conflicts during the 41st millennium, taking part in combating the emergent Tel lifeform, as well as aiding fellow Astartes in the Badab War. During the latter conflict, they deployed 2 companies in 3 strike cruisers, as well as a smaller attack vessels, and were used in a fire brigade role, rushing to aid beleaguered Battle Brother Space Marines in small detachments and guarding supply lines. After 2 years of honorable participating in the war, the Nova Marine forces withdrew in order to contest an orc invasion that threatened their homeworld. Since then, they have deployed a large amount of their firepower to aid in the defending against the 13th Black Crusade. Nova Marines forces were part of the resurrected Roboute Guilliman army during the Terran Crusade. During the Plague Wars of M42, the Nova Marines contributed a significant force to defend Ultramar. When they were instrumental in the defense of the Star Fort Galatan, it was during this battle that they incurred heavy losses, including that of their chapter master Bardon Davro to typhus. Since the formation of the Great Rift and the return of Roboute Guilliman, the Nova Marines have become one of the 10 shield chapters of Ultramar. So there's a rough idea of what a Nova Marine is. They obviously follow the chapter Astartes, the Codex Astartes, very, very strictly. The only one more strict is the Ultramarines themselves. So yeah, they're pretty cool. So as you can see with the color schemes that I've done now, I've just used contrast blue for the quarter. I painted in the black and the silver parts. And then I used Nuln Oil to cover over the entire miniature to shade it all down. The white side, I used the normal spray that I used to paint this model. So the model was sprayed black and then sprayed grey sear. I used that grey sear as the base coat for the white quarters. After that shade is dried and I've applied a bit of texture paste to the base, I moved on to Kaldor Sky. Now this wasn't an accident. Kaldor Sky is the same color that I use to highlight my Ultramarines armor. I like the idea that the Ultramarines, or the Nova Marines, sorry, literally just took their heraldry from the Ultramarines. They kept the same color, that cobalt blue armor, and then they just changed it out so a quarter of their armor or 2/4 of their armor was going to be this pale color. With this, it means when they stand shoulder to shoulder with Ultramarines, they're going to match in beautifully and they're going to look awesome. I also love this tone for blue. I love it on my Ultramarines, and I love it very much on this Nova Marine. One coat of the blue is all you need to get a nice solid coat. With the Pallid Witchflesh, however, you want to take your time, fine pointed brush. I'm working off of a wet palette so I get great control on the paint. I'm going to require 2 coats on pretty much every surface. Pallid Witchflesh is such a weak colored paint. Does not give great coverage, and we are looking for a nice smooth coat across the armor. So I didn't go back over kind of each individual plate as I was going. I literally painted the entire thing with the pale color, and then I went and did the entire thing again. I didn't do the knee and then wait for it to dry and do the knee again. I wanted to make sure the first coat was fully dry, so I went through the entire process. This did leave me with a really nice color. They contrast each other really, really well. It definitely screams and Nova Marines. Obviously went in with that same Pallid Witchflesh and painted in the chapter symbol on his shoulder pad. After that, we're going to grab Corvus Black, and we're just going to highlight all the black areas. So obviously his heavy bolt pistol and his chainsword casing are black, so we're going to get those done. But also the Aquila across his chest. They've decided to do their Aquillas in a black scheme, so we're going to use the Corvus Black to highlight that as well. One of the great things about certain Space Marine chapters, they are genuinely quite easy to paint when the colors are cooperative. And this scheme isn't too bad. You know, like the white is a little bit tricky. The blue is very simple. If you take your time, you can end up with a really nice Ultramarines army. Or sorry, Nova Marines army. That's basically the same thing. And they just look great. A friend of mine has an entire Nova Marines army, so I've played against them many a times. I've seen them deployed across the table from me, and on the tabletop they look awesome. A little bit of Warp Lightning was then used to paint in his eye sockets to give him his glowing eye lenses. Once again, a very quick step. When I was highlighting all the gun casings and the chain teeth with bright silver, I just painted in the eye sockets with silver as well to give me something nice to throw that contrast into. So once I throw Warp Lightning into the eyes, there we have it, a simple, completed Nova Marine. I would have liked to add a couple more transfers, the tactical symbol on the other shoulder pad, and maybe some squad markings, just to finish him off really nicely. I would have also liked to weather him a little bit. I'm not big on pristine looking Space Marines. I like them to look a little bit weathered and a little bit damaged, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to leave him as clean as possible, a parade ready Nova Marine. Hopefully you guys like these still images that he will give you an idea of what he will look like on tabletop. And as usual, please do let me know in the comments below what other Space Marine chapters you want to see me paint up in the very near future. Okay guys, and there we have it, our finished Nova Marine, looking pretty slick. I'm really pleased with the final result. I did 3D print out a shoulder pad just for him so you'd have the correct one on him. Really like how he turned out. He's pretty cool. Let me know what you want to see next in the Space Marine Chronicle series. I will do these for as long as you guys are enjoying watching them, learning a little bit of info on some background on some Space Marine chapters, and of course the how to paint them guide. I think we've done like 15 or 16 of them now, so there's quite a lot. Okay, if you enjoyed the video, do those 3 things you should do. They'll support every content creator when you watch their stuff, which costs you nothing. Like, if you have anything to say, comment, and make sure you're subscribed. Costs you nothing, but does mean a world of difference to us. Check out becoming a channel member and a Patreon member down in the description below as well if you are feeling generous. Thank you so much for sticking around at the end. I'll see you in the next one.